I wasn't expecting to do this, right? To win a Cy Young award, that was probably a little bit aggressive.
Yes, the Cy Young winner in the National League joining us right now. It's Chris Sale of the Atlanta Braves. Hey, Chris, awesome to have you on right after this. Congrats, man. How's the last 12, 16 hours been for you?
It's been busy. A lot of phone calls, a lot of text messages, but definitely worth it.
I'm disappointed, by the way. I thought we had Tarek Skubal. I wanted to talk to a unanimous Cy Young Award winner. Instead, you didn't get 4 votes. I don't know. I'm mad at you a little bit right here. You couldn't get all 30.
Well, if you were a better host, you might have got the better pitcher, but
A good point. That's a great point. I tried.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, he always says he taught you everything. So he starts with the White Sox. All these years later, he's the National League Cy Young.
I never would have thought he'd be a National League Cy Young. I thought he'd be a White Sox for life, But when him and Frazier decided to go around cutting up jerseys, the White Sox, these two clowns, they're out.
Hey, how bad do you miss the White Sox right now, bro? Oh, that's great.
I had obviously the best year of my career when the Cy Young, and one of my losses was to the worst team in the history of the game. So hey, keep your chin up, stay humble, kid.
That's true. That's very true. Hey, what's the best reach out you've gotten so far from someone, besides AJ and Todd Father and your former teammates here, but obviously, a good call or text, or whether it was the note itself or just the person?
Probably the most satisfying was the call to my dad. He's the one that's been there my whole life. I mean, he's the amount of baseballs he's thrown me, the amount of, times he's gotten behind a plate to catch a bullpen when I was a kid. I mean, it was that was a fun phone call to make.
Did you get a car? Scooble yesterday had birthday, car, Cy Young. Did your wife get you a car? Did she get you hopefully she didn't get you a bike, because last time you were on a bike, we know how that ended. So hopefully she got you like maybe a Tesla that has all airbags all around you or something.
I'm too Florida for an electric car, but I have a great story. I get a text from Stephanie Corey. She's with our agency, and she's like, "Are you guys celebrating tonight?" And I was in bed at like 9 o'clock last night, like asleep at 10. And yes, we are getting a new car. I'm going to pick it up tomorrow, and it's a Volvo XC90. So I got a new car, I got some good sleep, and I got a trophy.
That's awesome. Good stuff, man. Talk a little bit about family. I mean, I've seen you guys now all over. You got your wife and kids coming to a lot of road series. You guys are exploring Washington, D.C. The pictures are awesome. You're turning it. I feel like you're starting to understand, like, hey, man, I got to celebrate with my family a little more. You never know when it's going to be your last. Talk a little about how your family has represented you and how much more you need them as you get older here, because it looks like you're having a blast playing, but also you're bringing the family along with you, man. That's awesome.
For sure, yeah. That was actually something I was talking to my wife about last night. Before I got traded last offseason, we were really kind of planning that, this year was probably going to be my last year playing. I had one more year left on my contract, and we actually pulled our kids out of school. We're doing homeschool this year just so we could travel. It's like, all right, if we're going to do this one last year, let's fully kind of live the baseball life. They went on a lot of trips, and we kind of planned this last year before the trade happened. So, but we kind of stuck with the plan, and we're doing homeschool now, so we're doing a lot of stuff. We went to Philly and learned a lot about founding fathers. Went to Alcatraz out in San Fran, and Red Rocks in Colorado, and just it was nice having the family together and having them be able to kind of experience this. Because I haven't been traveling a whole lot the last few years with all the injuries. So it was nice. It was nice having that and being able to, share this experience with them. My youngest son's 5 now. I got a 7-year-old about to be 8, and my oldest son's 14, almost 15. So it goes quick, and we wanted to be able to keep our family together and enjoy it together.
That's awesome. Keep them out. That's what we did. We did for most of my career. Obviously, I didn't win any Cy Youngs. I was never eligible, so I think it was kind of a farce. But anyway, the second to last time you were on. So the first time you were on, not when we saw you at the All-Star game, but I asked you, are you a Hall of Fame pitcher? And your answer was kind of, well, no, if Burley's not, then I'm not. After this season, and clearly it's now not your last, are you a Hall of Fame pitcher?
No, not as it sits right now.
Okay, that's a little different. That's a little different of an answer, though. Did you know that you could do this coming into the season had you stayed healthy?
Oof. I will say this. I would say I wasn't expecting to do this, right? To win a Cy Young award. That was probably a little bit aggressive. I had confidence in myself. I just knew that I needed to be healthy. I know what I can do when I'm healthy and when I'm on a baseball field. And I just knew that I needed to execute that. I needed to stay healthy to be able to perform. So I had the confidence in my stuff when I was healthy. It was just, am I going to be healthy? And, thankfully it worked out.
Well, two things. First of all, I know you're not teaching your kids anything. First of all, you went to Lakeland High School and then you went to FGCU. Neither one of those are as highly rated as Dr. Phillips. Okay, so I know that your wife Brianna's doing all the work. Bree's doing all the work. You're just sitting back and hopefully you're like, hey kids, look, it's Big Ben over there. It's the Liberty Bell. So I understand how that works. Now, what changed? What changed in your health? Because you were in Boston. You were always healthy. I remember how many talks did we have? His locker was next to mine. We'd have talks, and he's like, man, every team, that's why I fell, was they thought I was going to blow out, right? And you went years and years and years until, it happened. And then he comes back, and you had some weird things. But then this year, you put it all back together at an advanced age. So what changed? And was it your workout routine? Was it your in-between start prep? Was it something the Braves did differently than what the Red Sox are doing? What was the key for you?
Well, to touch on the homeschooling first, I'm the PE teacher. So
yeah.
When they get to the end of their line, we'll go downstairs and play some ping pong, or take them out and get some wiffle ball, make some football passes, stuff like that. So I'm very lucky. My wife, my mother-in-law, and our nanny are holding it down on the school front. This year, honestly, I would say just being healthy was the biggest thing. Having a good, healthy off season as well. The last few years, there are a couple of years I didn't pick up a baseball until like January. And that's just way too late. I knew last year going into the off season, I needed to just play catch. I needed to throw. I need to get my arm in just throwing shape, playing a lot of long toss. Heck, I was getting off the mound in like December last off season. So I just really needed to focus on like the kind of the baseball stuff, getting back into throwing more and getting my arm in shape. And then, I kind of tweaked a little bit of my routine in between starts with some of the stuff throwing wise, some of the stuff in the weight room, some of the stuff in the training room, and had a lot of help to get there too. So I really just kind of leaned on everybody around me to kind of get me through this and kind of fall in place where I needed things to what I needed to do and when I needed to do them.
Let's talk about your health at the end of the season. How close to the doubleheader did you know, or how long before that doubleheader, the last game of the season, did you know you wouldn't be able to make that start? And when did it kind of creep in where it was like, okay, I'm kind of pitching through this, and then it finally was, you couldn't go?
Yeah, that was a tough blow. I've kind of felt something in that. What was it? The start against Cincinnati, and I just did my best to kind of just get through that outing, and it was a grind. I mean, if you go back and look at that start, it was my stuff wasn't really crisp. It wasn't jumping out of my hand. I was just doing everything I could just to kind of fill innings, so I wasn't putting our guys in a tough spot. And, the following days and weeks was just, it was a couple days off and trying to play some catch and doing a lot of treatment stuff. You know, it was kind of a weird situation because we obviously got eliminated in the wild card series, but I ended up throwing a bullpen just for peace of mind. You know, I didn't want to just kind of leave this on ice and not really know going into the off season, you know, what this was. So I forget what day it was, but it was I think it was a day or two after the last wild card game. I ended up throwing a bullpen off the mound at Truist, just to kind of, you know, all right, I'm going into the off season. If we had made it to the division series, I would have pitched. And you know, I've been playing catch since the middle of October. I've been going through my workouts and, you know, haven't had any issue with it. So thankful for that.
I want to ask you a question here. We got 2 teams this year that are going to be playing at minor league parks. First off, you ever think that would ever happen? And second off, you know, could you imagine yourself, you know, getting your first ever start and you got to do it at Steinbrenner Field? Like how unique, or I don't even know if it's unique, or how crazy is this going to be for guys to be, you know, coming in out and playing at minor league parks this year?
Yeah, unique is definitely the right word for that. It's, you know, you got to kind of play the hand you're dealt, right? Like there's just really no way that you know, the Trop would be ready to play for the season. So they have to do something, right? I don't know if their spring training site was ever a possibility, but I think that's more of a situation of you kind of got to do what you got to do given the circumstances. And the weirder part is obviously playing at someone else's spring training, right? Like if you know, if you went back to your own spring training, it'd feel a little bit more normal and you'd feel a little bit more at home. But you know, playing at like a mini replicated Yankee Stadium, as you know, especially when the Yankees go in to play, you know, the race this year. So, but hey, you know, sometimes that's life, that's baseball, that's sports. You kind of got to adapt and figure it out on the fly sometimes. So. You know, definitely unique to say the least.
Listen, everybody, we got a major problem here. Half of our viewers are not subscribed. Let's go. All you got to do is click a button, check it out, hit that button. The problem will be gone. Let's go.
So you mentioned how you thought this might be your last season. Obviously, then you signed the extension with the Braves and you got traded over there. I mean, you win a Cy Young at 35, and now you're like, I might have quite a few years left in me. Have you thought about what the shelf life for the arm is now in the bigs?
Yeah, I said this last night, guys. I just got through my first full season healthy in like 5 years. I'm not going to start counting the chickens yet. So I think where I'm at, and just given my past, man, and where I'm at now, it's only fair to myself, my family, and even my teammates to just kind of play every year and see what it brings, right? I don't think I'd ever be able to say before a season this is going to be my last season, or sit here and tell you now how many years I have. Just because I have too much respect for the game, and I know how much things can change in just a blink of an eye, honestly. So, you know, for me, I really did my best to do that this year, is just kind of appreciate where I'm at and what I'm doing, who I'm doing it with, and just kind of take each moment as they come. Because getting ahead of yourself, clearly, you know, it can kind of derail some things. So, I'm going to play this year. I got this year, and then I have an option. And, you know, we get to the end of this year and everything's good and we're healthy and we're, you know, still, you know, usable, I guess you could say. And they decide to pick up that option, then we play. But I'm just kind of focused on this offseason, getting through another healthy offseason, and then showing up spring training ready to roll again.
Man, you know you're playing more than one more year. Stop. Just stop. You know you're playing one more. You're not ready to go home and stay at home, Dad. We got it. It's cool. You know, it sounds good when you're telling everybody, oh, you're like Charlie Morton. I'm going to play one more year. That was 10 years ago, and he's still getting 1-year deals for $20 million. So stop it, please. Just stop it, okay?
If the 40 and I'm still throwing 96 and spinning it at 3,000 RPMs like him, we're going to have some conversations. But
there you go.
I just, you know, with where I've been, I can't sit here and say that right now.
All right. You guys lost Travis Darno. Darno signed with the Angels. What's that loss for your team and for the Braves in general? I know Murph kind of took over, but early last year Murph was hurt and Darno played the bulk of the time, and then they kind of split down the stretch. What's the loss of Travis Darno, and for that matter, Sal Fasano to the Braves?
Yeah, I'm actually glad you said Sal's name too. Travis, losing him, that was a gut punch. That was a tough one. Good catchers who are great teammates don't just grow on trees. And what he was, just even in the clubhouse, he was a guy that just people wanted to be around. People, you can trust in him. When he's behind the plate, what you're going to get in terms of game calling and just leaving everything he's got out on the field. It was a running joke. I feel like every time he caught me, he was hitting 2 home runs. He had a 3-homer game during one of my starts, and so I'm going to miss that portion of it for sure. But again, he's a veteran catcher who's been around. He's a proven winner. He's a leader, and again, like I said, guys just kind of gravitate towards him. So that was a tough one. That was a tough pill to swallow. Obviously, having Murph, he's Gold Glove back behind the plate, all-star catcher. We have all the confidence in the world in him. So it'll be a little bit different moving forward. But hey, it's baseball, it's sports. It's very rarely do you see full teams stay together for very long. And then losing Sal, that was a tough one too, man. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that just lives this game. Everything he does is baseball oriented. We'd have to, the Braves did team breakfast, and he'd be in there, and it was a lot of fun going and starting the day, getting some breakfast, get a couple eggs, and there's Sal, and he's just chopping it up about this or that, game planning, mentality stuff, and just sometimes it wasn't even about baseball. So he put a lot of work, and he helped those guys behind the plate a lot, and he was almost like a third pitching coach also. So. Losing him was tough as well, but again, like I said, this game keeps moving forward, and you got to, kind of just gain ground when you can.
Big boy Sal was there for the free breakfast. Don't get it twisted. He likes talking baseball, but my guy was there for the extra waffles and eggs. That man ain't getting into his wallet, but that's okay. One last guy who's going to get into a wallet. How much does it mean? Because we talk about position players, and that's what I can attest to. How much does it mean when a pitcher leaves a staff? How much would it mean for you to have, as a pitcher in your success, to have Max Fried back?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure there's not anybody associated with the Atlanta Braves that wants to see him wearing a new uniform. Just his consistency, man. I mean, he's really impressive in terms of how he goes about what he does. Just how involved he is with the scouting reports, and he'd have a stack of papers like that thick, and there's blue highlighters, there's red highlighters. He's got he's one of the better students of the game I've ever actually been around, and just kind of how elusive he can be, man. Like there's some games he'd give up 9 hits, and there'd be 1 or 2 runs across the board. I give up 9 hits. I've given up 7 runs. So he has the ability to, get that early contact, but sometimes those results in hits. And then, next thing you know, there's a punch out and a double play, or a double play and a pop-up. And it just seemed like anytime guys, got something going, he, better than a lot of people I've ever seen, would be able to get out of that, second and third with nobody out and finding ways out of it. So, but he's positioned himself to be here. He's put in the work. He's obviously put in the time, and he's deserving of whatever comes his way.
By the way, you also won a Gold Glove this year, which still blows my mind because you can't catch a cold. Seriously, I can't figure this out. It's so awesome that you won a Gold Glove. It really is amazing.
I will say this about Glove. I don't know if I won it as much as I just didn't mess it up.
There you go. You didn't have to throw over. So you didn't throw. Remember the time in Seattle we called it? I think you were pitching. No, it might have been Danks. We called a throw over, and Adam Dunn was playing first. Forgot to cover. Whatever. I think it was Danks that was pitching that game. Things like that happen though.
Many moons ago, but yeah, I was able to make all the plays, and actually the best play I made all year. I didn't even really the ball caught me. So I'll hang my hat on that Gold Glove for the rest of my life.
Believe it. Hey, you guys get to go to Bristol this year and play in the NASCAR stadium. Are you excited about that? Because it breaks up the monotony of just every game. So you get to go to a different park Saturday night. You get the Sunday following off. I think they're trying to make it the biggest crowd in the history of MLB. Are you going to go to Snit and say, Snit, I want that game?
I would love that. And I'm all for it too. So in 2019, with the Red Sox, we played the Yankees in London. And I mean, the travel was tough. The plane we took was ridiculous. Which made it a lot better. But I thought that was a blast. It was obviously a launching pad, so I'm glad I missed that series pitching wise. But just a fun experience, especially it's almost like you're going on a trip, to London in the middle of the season. So it definitely did break it up, and they did a good job of putting that close to the All-Star break. So we kind of catch our breath after some long travel. But I'm all in for this kind of stuff, man. Anything to kind of make the game a little bit more exciting. Playing a game in a place that has probably never seen a professional baseball team. So I'm for it. I'd love to pitch.
Yeah, the only way you could throw there, though, is you got to wear a 1920s wool uniform. Are you all right with that or no?
I still got it.
Oh, that's all. Oh, that's great, dog. Good stuff.
No, man.
I love it. Wait, what is that?
It looked like I don't look like a shank. What, you got a shank? What was that
A
thing?
knife.
That's the cutter.
It's a pocket knife. I don't know if this might be a little family friendly. So
Hey, listen, for people that don't know where Lakeland is, everyone in Lakeland carries one of them.
Everybody has one.
Oh, in Lakeland, 100%. I mean, everyone Lakeland's a place where they had the gun racks in the back of their truck.
Yeah.
With the guns. Sale was in high school. I guarantee you had the gun rack in the back of his short bed Ford, and he had the friggin' the shotgun, so he could go right to hunting right after school.
yeah, not in my truck. I'm not that old.
Well, Chris, this was awesome, man. Congratulations again on the Cy Young dub, and thanks for stopping by to hang with us. Really appreciate it, but what a year.
No, I appreciate it, guys. I love coming on here, so hit me up whenever. I'm down.
Hey,
Absolutely.
go now. You got expectations, so now you got to go do it again.
Ooh.
I know. That stings.
High expectations. Chris, appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon. We'll hit you up soon.
No problem. See you guys.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.